Hello, Lens Island is a new early access crafting building dungeon crawler. I would like to talk today about weapons, which are being a big part of this game considering that it's being advertised as a skill-based dungeon crawler. So, how weapons works in Lens Island? When you look into a weapon description, you can see a couple of stats like damage, critical hit damage, speed and knockback. Damage and critical hit damage is described usually as a range of damage, for example 4 to 5. When looking at that, players may think that weapons do some random damage between 4 and 5 each swing, but this is not how it works in this game. So, each weapon in this game have a sequence of different swings. Each swing got its own animation, sometimes one swing does double or even triple damage, which is showing as a separate animation but still triggered by one mouse click. Each swing does always the same normal or critical damage, there is no random factor assigned to it. So, when player uses weapon, he inflicts damage based on swing within a sequence. Important to remember is that you always have to start from first swing within a sequence. And after first swing, as long as you will click left mouse button quickly enough, you will be executing next swing of the sequence. Up to the last one, and after executing the last one, you come back to the first one of the first swing of the sequence. Basically, keep going like that. And you don't have to make critical hits. As long as you will be executing them quickly enough, that's all fine. You will be keep going on with your sequence. Most weapons got between 2 and 4 swings within their sequence. If breaks between swings will be too long, sequence will stop and come back to swing number 1. With that mechanic, it is entirely possible to execute your sequence indefinitely over and over again, as I said before. So, game has interesting manual crit mechanics, increase damage, but also cause mobs to be staggered, preventing them from hitting you, making crits important part of the game. To get critical, you need to time your next swing perfectly within the window of opportunity indicated by a small circle appearing next to your weapon when using it. And because each weapon got a different swings rotation with different timing, that forces players to literally learn weapons they use in order to train your muscle memory to execute crits during heat of the battle. So for the beginning players, I think it's easier to start from using slower weapons because you can see those circles more clearly and you can just time your crits basically manually. With quicker weapons like swords or very quick swords, you need to basically train your muscle memory, so you will have no time really to look at this circle because it will be popping up too quickly. So it is a little bit higher level of skill when playing like that. So sometimes reading just the numbers on a weapon description can be a bit misleading. Like for example, you can have one weapon doing between 8 and 10 damage and second weapon doing between 7 and 9 damage. So you could think that for sure first weapon must be better, right? Assuming, of course, that both of them have the same speed. But let's say that the first weapon got 2 swings in a rotation. First does 8 damage and second does 10 damage. And second weapon will have also 2 swings in a rotation. First swing will be doing 7 damage and second swing will do a double 9 damage. So, as you can see in above example, that second weapon will do more damage in the same time as the first one. On the right side of the weapon, when you look at the description of it, you can see some kind of like a percentage values. And they are the types of damage inflicted by that weapon, which basically describes in what situation weapon is most efficient. Like for example, you have the first 3 are basically slashing, piercing and blunt, or rather piercing and slashing and blunt in that order. And these are mainly used when fighting against mobs. As long as there is 100% in one of them, that's fine. That means that your weapon will inflict 100% damage to an enemy. But if you have a weapon which doesn't have a 100% there, that means that it will be doing slightly less. Like for example, if you have a weapon which does maximum 10 damage and you have only 80% slashing, piercing and blunt damage in this weapon description, then that means your weapon will do only 8 damage to mobs. Some weapons also will have this kind of like a chopping ability or mining ability, what basically means that they can be used to chopping trees or mine ore. So I guess these are all like the basics, and What I wanted to do in the next part of this video is I would like to show you the sequences of swings for each weapon in a game. You will see normal damage in a square and crit damage in a circle. For each swing within a sequence, after the normal sequence, you will also see abilities attached to each weapon. Abilities can be injected into your rotation, replacing standard swings, and in most of cases, they are much more powerful than the normal swings. They are usually assigned to letters Q, E, and R on your keyboard. Considering the fact that to test a weapon in a game, you have to first craft it or buy it or find it in case of some weapons, and there is no way to tell what is the swings configuration for each weapon. I hope that this video may be helpful for some people who want to see basically how the weapons works, want to see that rotation before they actually craft the weapon in order to make that kind of a choice. At the beginning of the game, when you start it, you have a limited resources, and that can be the factor, that you want to get that best weapon for you straight away, as the first crafting choice. So I hope it will be useful, and let's go now to the second part of this video, where you will see all sequences.